Hello friends, welcome to the fantastic world of stories and why we tell them from Culture Katha. Karna is a favorite character from the Mahabharata for many. His character has been explored and fleshed out in detail by several writers, playwrights, and even common people in their version of his story. In doing so, these works have added new dimensions to Karna's character and his life. In this video, let's look at some popular versions of Karna's story that offer interesting perspectives on him. Let's start with Bhasa's Karna Bharam, a one-act play in Sanskrit composed nearly 2000 years back. The title Karna Bharam means anguish of Karna, and the play focuses on the tragedy of Karna's life told in the milieu of the Kurukshetra war. At the point he enters the battlefield, everything is against him. His own brothers, the promise he made his mother Kunti not to kill any of her sons except Arjuna, and the curses hanging on his head. The curses being one from a Brahmin whose cow Karna had accidentally killed, and another from his guru Parashurama, whom Karna had deceived by falsely posing as a Brahmin in order to acquire the sage's knowledge of the sacred weapons. With these curses hanging on his head like swords, Karna is painfully aware of his imminent death as he readies himself for the battlefield. The entire play is constructed as a conversation between him and Shalya, his charioteer, and then with Indra, who comes in the disguise of a Brahmin to take away Karna's protective armor and earrings that ensure his invincibility in war. In the conversation with Shalya, Karna recollects the multiple tragedies of his life but does not express self-pity. He believes that if he were to die fighting in the battlefield, he would attain the heavens as brave martyrs do. On the other hand, if he were to emerge alive and victorious, then he would achieve fame. Either way, he believed that the war was going to be rewarding for him. In an interesting deviation from Vyasa's Bharata, Bhasa shifts the scene where Indra arrives to take away Karna's armor and earrings to the battlefield. In Vyasa's epic, this episode unfolds much earlier when the Pandavas are in exile after losing the game of dice. By shifting the story to the time of the war, Bhasa throws light on Karna's vulnerability as he enters Kurukshetra. As the play ends, Bhasa's Karna emerges a hero as he has overcome his fears and enters the battlefield stoically without his protective armor and earrings, reconciled to his impending end. One of the most popular works on Karna in recent times is Mrityunjay by Shivaji Savant, which is a fictionalized account of Karna's life story and a novel of epic proportions that tells the entire story of the epic from Karna's point of view. Karna's story is told through the characters associated with him, namely his mother Kunti, his friend Duryodhana, his wife, his son, and finally Krishna himself. Mrityunjay is somewhat of a glorified biography of Karna. So while the book does narrate the incidents that show Karna in unfavorable light, it takes a sympathetic view of his actions. Shivaji Savant fleshes out the character of Karna in great detail, capturing every little aspect of his life. The greatness of Mrityunjay lies in the fact that it remains the basis for several modern day narratives of Karna's character. Another interesting fiction on Karna is The Mind Whisperer by Rajesh Iyer that, like Bhasa's Karna Bhara, explores Karna's frame of mind, his thoughts and feelings as he enters the battlefield. In his book, Iyer explores the strange relationship between Karna and his charioteer Shalya and the implications of Shalya's hateful words on Karna's mind. In his final dying moments, Karna realizes how he had no one to blame but himself, as all his life he had been a slave of his continuously whispering mind that generated ugly, unwanted thoughts of jealousy, hatred, and self-pity. This is a Karna who eventually owns up to his mistakes and dies holding no grudges against anyone. Iyer enriches his narration by weaving in several interesting tales from Tamil folk versions of the epic, making the book an interesting read. Yet another interesting take on Karna is found in the book The Difficulty of Being Good by Gurcharan Das. In this non-fiction that analyzes characters from the Mahabharata, a separate chapter is devoted to Karna. Das, while analyzing Vyasa's Karna, points out that Karna's biggest weakness was his status anxiety. Apart from his continuous obsession with his birth status, he also bore irrational feelings of jealousy for Arjuna and rivalry for the Pandavas. While Bhasa and Sawant took an aggrandized view of Karna, Das gives us a more grounded view of the person Karna was. At the other end of the spectrum is Karna of Yugantha, Iravati Karve's analytical view of Vyasa's magnum opus. Iravati Karve, unlike the sympathetic biographers of Karna, is unwilling to regard Karna as a great hero. She draws our attention to two events where Karna, as a warrior, performed very poorly as compared with Arjuna. The first incident takes place in the forest where Pandavas are in exile after losing the dice game. The Kaurava forces, including Karna, come to the forest to find out how the Pandavas are faring in exile, but end up in a confrontation with some Gandharvas living there. In that combat, Duryodhana is captured and taken away by the Gandharvas, and Yudhishthira sends Arjuna and Bhima to rescue him. While all this is happening, Karna flees the place, fearing for his life. The second incident happens in the Virata Parvan, when the Kaurava forces that included Karna invade Matsya Desha, where the Pandavas are in hiding incognito. Arjuna single-handedly defeats the Kaurava forces, including Karna, in that conflict. In both these incidents, Karna's image as a great warrior suffers badly. Karna is also critical of Karna when he promises his mother Kunti that he would kill Arjuna and spare her other sons. Karna thinks that this gesture does not indicate Karna's generosity. On the other hand, it only showed his contempt for the Pandavas, of whom he only thought Arjuna to be his equal and worthy of combat. Also, in Karve's opinion, such deals were neither befitting a friend nor did they serve Duryodhana's cause, which was to win the war at any cost. In her analysis, Iravati systematically deconstructs the character of Karna and says that all of us battle the question of who am I sometime or the other in our lives. Karna battled it all his life. Indeed, he could never reconcile what he wanted to be with who he was destined to be. And therein lies the tragedy of Karna's life. There's an interesting story narrated in a Tamil folk ballad called Ponnuruvi Masakkai, compiled by A.K. Perumal in his book Arjunanin Kadaligal, meaning the lady loves of Arjuna. In this story, Karna is married to a princess named Ponnuruvi, who does not accept him as a husband and wishes no conjugal relationship with him, as she believes he belongs to a lower caste. Karna therefore forces himself upon her one day when she is in an intoxicated state. Ponnuruvi becomes pregnant from that encounter. When she comes to know that she has been deceitfully impregnated by Karna, she is enraged. She then sets out to abort her fetus, but her attempts are sabotaged by Karna's mother, Duryodhana and Dushala. Eventually, she ends up delivering Karna's child. Soon after, the Kurukshetra war begins, and here too, Karna, just as Bhasa's Karna, is aware of his imminent death. He wishes to take leave of Ponnuruvi for the last time as he prepares to leave for the war, but she refuses to meet him. It is at that point he reveals to her his birth secret of being Kunti's son. Ponnuruvi is shocked to know the truth and is full of remorse for rejecting Karna all these years. At this point, Karna, who loved his wife unconditionally, tells her that he was unlikely to return alive from the battlefield. He instructs her that if she became a widow, she should not seek shelter with his wicked brothers, the Pandavas, when the war ends. Instead, he says she should go back to her parents' house and not allow herself to be lured by any entreaties from the Pandavas. The story of Karna here is told with a lot of sympathy as it resonates with the common people who face similar issues in their everyday lives of discrimination, of unfair placement of birth status over ability and aspirations, of not getting one's dues. Friends, not for nothing is Mahabharata called the greatest story ever told, for no other piece of world literature has held the pulse of mankind as Mahabharata has. So do stay with me on this magical journey as we go unraveling the endless layers of the epic. Till we meet again, it's Tada, bye bye, take care, see you soon.